Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review. I'm back again, guys, and I'm here to tell you about another movie I'm doing, and it's another children's movie, and this time another big personal favorite of mine. You guys can see it there, but it is Hoodwinked. Yep, I'm going to take a look at Hoodwinked today and tell you about the film a bit and a bit of its plot and synopsis and who's in it, and once again what I think they did a good job on. And basically Hoodwinked was this idea that the directors, I should say the producers, Pat Edwards and Corey Edwards. Corey Edwards is also the director in this movie. They had an idea of wanting to do a fairy tale story and flipping it on its ear. And they chose one of the classic ones. I guess there were like several ideas. And they decided to go with Little Red Riding Hood, which personally is a good choice. It is a very good choice here. I realize I am not centered to the camera. There. Center now. But they chose to go with Little Red Riding Hood because it's recognizable. Everybody knows the pretty much the main bit of the story, which is there. And the reason it is called Hoodwinked is because they took the story of Little Red Riding Hood and they flipped it on its ear, making it like a detective story, and the characters were also bizarre and not who you think. Like, everything is pretty much different. And you have basically starting off with the main character, Little Red Riding Hood, or Red as she's just called in this picture, played by, don't know if you saw the name, but well played by Anne Hathaway, and Anne Hathaway plays Red, the girl. And it starts off like, she's the nice cookie maker and deals, and she does a lot of things with her grandma, because I guess the big business in the woods is sweets and foods and cookie making especially. And Red had her recipes and her cookies and desserts, you could also say, and she was going to the woods to visit her grandma. She leaves her house and goes to see her grandma, and on the way there, like, every woodland creature knows her, everybody's friendly with her, they all get to know her, and along the way there's like hilarious things. There's woodland creatures pretending to be the village people from YMCA. There's actually a human masquerading around as a raccoon, like, the classic shifty-eyed character. And there's like funny things while she goes on the way to her grandma's. And in a classic telling, she runs into the wolf, who has no idea, who is looking for her and wants to know if she has sweets, and he's bumbling, and she gets away from him, and like there's how did it go? Oh yeah, she got away from him. She actually got to her grandma's house, and she also was trying to get to her grandma's house by avoiding the wolf, so she takes a minecart ride down there, which is being owned by J-Path the Mountain Goat, who is played by, brilliantly I'm going to say, by Benji Gaither, who is a well-known yodeling and or country singer. Did a little bit of review on the guy, and he's basically a singer and brilliantly played by Benji Gaither. And Benji Gaither goes through these whole songs about how he's this mountain goat, J-Path, how he was cursed and how he can't do things by singing, and he actually talks normally for a minute and then goes back to singing. I did talk normal? Did I? Oh, and like, it's like plays up the whole thing that goes along with it. And basically through trouble of the mountain goat, J-Path, them going down the mine cart, an avalanche being caused, and that her and J-Path basically avoided. And then a track is out at some point in the movie where they're going to her granny's, and they fly up into the air. J-Path turns his horns into like a helicopter and flies away. Red actually uses her hood, and it's a whole bunch of hilarious consequences that follow, and was really good. And when she gets to her granny's, she realizes, the classic thing, oh, the wolf is looking like her grandma, but the thing is, the wolf is in this hilarious, like, wooden mask that looks like Granny's that they actually got from one of Granny's boxes that I guess is inside one of her cookies or desserts. Wear this Granny mask and, be like her, I guess. And there's all these hilarious things that just ensue, and it's like really fun to see and really cool. Hi, it's my dog Hawk. So, and anyway, that starts off the whole thing. And what is actually the beginning of the movie with that scene is we learn that all these characters. Oh wait, forgot one big detail. The woodsman comes crashing in, swinging his axe like a maniac, and it's just really funny to see how like all this turns into like a huge detective case. And then there's like I think he's called like the Sweet Bandit or something like that, but it's some bandit robbing sweets from the woodland creatures, and Red, Granny, Wolf, and the woodsman are all suspect. They're all suspect to being this sweet thief, and that's how Red gets her point started. And give me a minute, guys. I think my dog may need to go out. I would stop the video, but then I have to restart recording and all that. So just give me one moment. I'll be right back. Come on. Yep. Apologies, guys. My dog had to be let out, so had to come right back. So sorry for that minute or two of nothing. And then after the story gets started, we have Nikki. Well, a bunch of cops show up. We have Detective Stork, played by Anthony Anderson. Chief Grizzly, played by Exhibit, who's actually being held by Hans there. And we have Nikki Flippers, brilliantly played by David Ogden Steers, like this detective who I guess shows the cops up. Chief Grizzly isn't too proud to have him along. The other cops sort of are. The cops are also portrayed in this film as like bumbling fools. You got a raccoon who likes, I guess, to eat out of people's garbage. Detective Stork sort of is like a bit nutty, he's not all there. You got the three pigs who are basically just sort of fat, lazy, and they don't care. And apparently the police arrest people for being creepy, and they do a whole bunch of antics that are just like nuts. Like one time, one of the pigs out of the three little pigs are basically saying to one pig who's actually asleep with the recipe book that this bandit is after, saying, "What are you doing on Friday night? What you got going on?" Is that a yes or no? Do you want to go play cards? Want to go see a movie? It's just hilarious. The cops are actually portrayed as bumbling. Exhibit plays Chief Grizzly, like I said, who's like a big tough guy, and Nikki Flippers is basically the guy who tries to bring everything together. Because Chief Grizzly is the guy who says, all these guys are the bandits. I want to just arrest them, book them all, and Nikki Flippers is like, no, we got to think about this logically. We got to make sure we break down the case, see who is who, and it's actually really cool how Nikki Flippers comes to that deduction, and just having David Ogden Steers play that role was brilliant. Because I don't know if you guys know David Ogden Steers from like Atlantis, The Lost Empire, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or even the biggest one, Pocahontas, where he played the governor. He's a great actor, and I don't think he's completely gotten his due, but he's a very good actor who really should get his due. He's well known in a lot of these films. And then we go to Granny, who's played by Glenn Close, who we hear that Granny was basically, the kind of lady who made the sweets, and she was doing a lot of things, and when Red called her a few times, because in the forest you have cell phones and regular phones and all that good stuff, and basically Granny seemed a little scatterbrained, like she wasn't all there. And I guess you find out through Detective Stork and also Nikki Flippers that Granny lives on the wild side. She's got like all these trophies for gaming. She has all these like sports trophies and things. She's a wrestler in her spare time. And apparently, there's not supposed to be any secrets in the Little Red Riding Hood family's line. There's supposed to be these recipe and cookie makers, and they're supposed to tell each other everything. But apparently Granny, who once again is voiced by Glenn Close, who apparently, from what I learned in the special features, Glenn Close did this role all in one day. They said she did her work all in one day, and she did amazing. And she really is awesome in this movie. And, like, Granny just, I guess, goes snowboarding while Red's on her way to see her. And while she's snowboarding, her friends are like a polar bear, a little fox, penguin, and I think another one. They say that this weird German ski group injured their friends, and they were after a lot of things. And basically, what happens is this German group works for the food bandit, and they try to chase Granny down the hill. They get rid of all of Granny's friends, and they try to basically knock Granny off. Granny fights them. There's this like hilarious snowball fight that's supposed to imitate a gunfight. It's really hilarious and like well seen, and they actually joke about it a lot in the audio commentary, and it's a very fun ride. And Granny apparently outsmarts them, gets away from them, makes it back home, and in her tale when she gets to the house is she sees the wolf coming, but she goes in through like the back window of her home, and she parachuted on the way home from escaping the bandit thieves from on top of the mountain where she was at, which is also a good cause for the avalanche as well, the fighting between the Germans and Granny. And Granny's parachute gets caught in her fan, and she gets thrown around, and she gets dislodged and tied up in her parachute, and that's how she gets locked in the closet in the film. And I should also say spoilers, guys, because the first half of this film is introducing the characters, and as I introduce how this plot goes, it's going to be revealing a lot, so this whole film, this whole video, is probably a huge spoiler. So once again, like any review, don't see it unless you've seen the film. Can't stress that enough. And then we get to Patrick Warburton, or sorry, the Wolf. The Wolf, who is brilliantly played by Patrick Warburton. And Patrick Warburton plays this really cool dude of a wolf. This wolf is actually a investigative reporter. Like, he writes for newspapers and magazines, and he tries to make the bad stuff around the news or around the woods known. Like, he wants to make sure that people know what's going on. And this Cookie Bandit has been his biggest score. Like, he goes around pretending to be health inspectors, basketball players, pretends to be a wolf in sheep's clothing, and all the hilarious antics that actually go on. And he tries to find out what it is. He's getting closer, can't quite figure it out, and then he spots Red, and he tries to go after Red. Now, in Red's mind, when she saw the wolf, like any detective story, we all have our own perceptions of how things go. And what happens is that Red thinks the wolf is like the evil character, as she found out from earlier in the film with her friend the bunny, which he's probably the last character we're going to get to. And the bunny tells that there's wolves that Red needs to watch out for, and she views the wolf as evil, the wolf actually just comes out from a little hiding place, not scaring her like she thought, but he's basically trying to talk to her, and the wolf gets like maced in the face. He tries to like track her down. He like gets a quick cab to track her down to like get in front of her, but he gets in front of her too fast, has to get out of the cab to get at her, and it's just a lot of these hilarious antics. And what happens is that the wolf gets tricked by Red and a bunch of birds, because these birds have Red's hood. Wolf goes into the river, the wolf falls down the river, and then the wolf gets a little help from the bunny, saying he can find this shortcut to Granny's house, like over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house they go. And, so they play on that rhyme, and then, the wolf and his friend Twitchy, who's brilliantly played by the director, I believe it's Corey Edwards who does Twitchy. He's like this squirrel who's like very fast talking and a bit nutty and all over the place. And apparently there's a big joke that he drinks coffee, and Twitchy keeps saying, "No, I don't drink coffee. I don't have it. I don't drink coffee." And it's like very funny just to see those two go together, and they play off each other really well. And they go through this cave. They don't find anything big in the cave. They run out because there's this huge monster behind them, and then they get in this random minecart. And while they're in this minecart, they're actually finding a quick way to Granny's. And what happens is that they can't see because they're in this tunnel, and Twitchy lights a match, and he's like, "It's dinamite." Oh, it must be Italian, which, once again, dynamite, which they said that joke, dinamite, it must be Italian, is from A Christmas Story. So it was really well done. The Christmas Story angle and how they paid homage to that, too. I thought that was really cool. And, while they're dealing with the dynamite, the wolf's throwing it out the back, and it actually destroys a big piece of the track, which is actually what causes J-Peth, the mountain goat, and Red to fly in the air and to almost get themselves killed. So that was a funny little tie-in. And then, obviously, the wolf gets there. Granny's already tied up in the closet in her parachute. They have no idea. They get there, they find the granny mask on the floor, put it on, try to trick Red, and that leads us into the next segue here. With the woodsman, who is a fun little character, I don't know if you see right there, played by Jim Belushi. And Jim Belushi just plays this sort of dumb but fun-loving, German woodsman, or acting to be a woodsman, because the woodsman actually sells this like sausage on a stick named Schnitzel, and he's a Schnitzel delivery guy, but he's also an actor trying to make it in the world. And his big dream is to be an actor and also to join the Happy Yodelers Club, who they yodel and sing together, and that's his huge dream. And what happens is the woodsman's trying to try out for this cream, and he's trying to like pretend to hack down a log, and it's Paul's Bunyan cream, and he keeps trying to recite it and sort of being weird. He actually throws his axe, almost hits the director. The director sort of gives him this like, "Yeah, we'll give you a call," while you're not caring that he's going to put him on there. And then, Healy's dejected, starts to go sell the schnitzel to the kids, and Jim Belushi leads into this hilarious song about schnitzel and all these. I mean, you hate to be stereotypical in a movie like this, but of course, it's a cartoon. You can do almost anything what you want. And all these fat German kids come out of nowhere, and, they start eating the schnitzel, and they go into this hilarious song, only to have the woodsman come back and to find out that his truck has been low-jacked. Like, the tires are missing, all the schnitzel's gone, he's been robbed, and, he actually gets a call back from the director, who I forgot who tells him Kirk, because that's the woodsman's name too, if you want to remember that. Kirk actually gets a call back, and he's like, "I got the call back," like that. And he tells him that he's actually interested in him, and he wants him to keep trying to be the woodsman. So what happens is Kirk, the woodsman, takes an axe, he tries to knock down the tree, he uses the actual wooden end, tries to chop it without using the sharp end, and then at some point during his little montage, the woodsman gets a book, How to Chop Trees for Dummies, which personally to me is really hilarious. And, then he starts going and chopping trees gaily because he thinks he's going to get this part. Actually gets there, tries to chop down a big tree, takes him basically all day, almost to the evening. He basically almost has not a lot left, and then all of a sudden we hear a red scream. He investigates really quick. The big tree he was trying to chop basically goes down. He starts to run with this big trunk, is actually trapped on the trunk at one point, doing the classic, running while rolling it. And he basically crashes the tree into two trees in front of Granny's house, comes flying in the window by accident, and is like trying to keep his balance, and it looks like he's about to throw his axe and kill people. So that's also a hilarious coincidence too. And all the meanwhile, while Nicky Flippers and everybody else is trying to figure out this case, the true culprit behind it, I mentioned him a few times, he's actually in all these vignettes of the wolf, Red, Granny, and the woodsman, is the bunny. And the bunny, to me, was an interesting evil character. And he's actually brilliantly played by Andy Dick. Andy Dick does another good job. I know about what people have said about Andy Dick, how he's not all there, how he's really nutty, how he's like a bit off his rocker. But I will say this. Andy Dick is, sorry Tom Green fans, but Andy Dick is a better actor and a better performer and actually seems like an all-around fun dude more than Tom Green does. Tom Green seems about 7 to 8 chips more nutty than Andy Dick, if the stuff to Andy Dick is also to be believed. But once again, I don't know Tom Green personally either, or maybe Tom Green just does that because that's his type of acting, but that's at least just my opinion about comparing the two. But Andy Dick does a great job in this film. He does a great job as the bunny, playing that innocent role, but then knowing that there's something sinister behind him. And with the bunny being the villain, they said they wanted to play it off because they made it well known that you would know in the film that it was the bunny doing all this, but then at the same time, they kept it well open enough to think that, oh, we're going to get the kids, but the adults should be able to figure it out. And they said when they screened the film, like half the kids knew it was the bunny behind it, half the other kids were disappointed it was the bunny because they're like, how could the bunny be evil? And, it was such a lovely play. And, Andy Dick's performance just serves so well to the character where he's like this nice guy first, and then at the very end of the film, he's just this wisecracking, just like sort of low-down jerk who wants to steal everything. And it was a good performance by him. And there's a good, fun score by John Mark Painter, who does a lot of good work and, does a very fun children's type score for this movie. And not only that, one big point that I found out while watching the special features of Hoodwinked that I can add to the greatness of this film is that they wanted to make Hoodwinked not the classic CGI. I know some people, like when the film first came out, they were turned off because it didn't have the classic CGI cartoon look, or sort of photorealistic look that, Disney and Pixar and even DreamWorks have been using. But Corey Edwards said in the special features that what he wanted to produce was a movie that was like stop motion animation. So it was done in the computer, but it would have the look of like these characters were puppets. He wanted to really get the storybook vibe for this movie. And in my opinion, he did. He made it work really well, and it just, everything flows together well. Like nothing is left out. Like everything has a great structure to it. And overall, because of that, I think with the way they made the film, the acting in this movie, the comedy, how everything is not what you think from a classic storytelling, Hoodwinked is a great film, and I think it's an underappreciated one. And now that I personally had no interest in seeing Hoodwinked 2, just to get that straight, I had no interest in seeing Hoodwinked 2, the second one, but now that I now know that Hoodwinked 2 is still made by Corey Edwards and company, I'm thinking I want to keep that, because if that's in there, You know, and there's still, and if it's still done by the same people, hopefully the film will be good. Maybe the film isn't that good, but I may still take a chance in it, because maybe there's some enjoyment and whatnot I can still get out of it. But the first Hoodwinked movie, this movie is great. It's basically, once again, another underrated gem that I'm glad I own. And, you know, overall, I give the movie, I wouldn't say 10 out of 10, but I basically give it 9 out of 10. I give it a big rating because it's deserving of it. It's a great film. It's enjoyable. It really has everything that you would think it would have. And it's just a great, fun time. It's what you would want to expect from a movie and more. So, without further ado, you know, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this film, Hoodwinked? Did it meet all your expectations? Do you think the movie could have been better? You know, what did you like about it, dislike about it, blah, blah, blah. All the same regular stuff. So, yeah, if you want to, leave me comments, you know, let me know what you guys think of Hoodwinked, and, you know, just let me know. Till then, though, this has been 012 Boku once again, coming at you with another movie review, and hopefully I'll get another one to you guys very soon. Alright? Well, until then, guys, you have a good one.